Well, I think it's safe to say when it comes to the Splash Mountain re-theme to Tiana's Bayou Adventure over in Disney World, that is, at the very least, I would say mixed reviews in terms of people liking it, not liking it, liking Old Splash Mountain better, and then you start looking at the unreliability of that ride as it has had its issues ever since really it was testing for annual pass holders, even for cast members, and then when it opened, many days it doesn't open at all, or sometimes very limited time, as it is plagued by issues involving the sensors and a lot of the aspects of things they changed about Splash Mountain over to Tiana's Bayou Adventure are unreliable, and even when it is running, a lot of times the animatronics aren't working or sections of that ride are not operating, and it's not even open for a year now. But a lot of people had pointed over to Disneyland as they were working on their version, taking out their Splash Mountain to put in Tiana's Bayou Adventure, wondering if they would have fixed the issues that plagued the one in Disney World. And it seems like that may not be the case here. So we have a story from WDWNT that talks about on the opening day of Tiana's Bayou Adventure over in Disneyland that it is not off to the greatest start in the world. So we're going to read through this and give some thoughts on it. So hi, I'm Jared with Capture the Magic. And the headline here says, Tiana's Bayou Adventure fails to open at Disneyland on opening day. It says, Tiana's Bayou Adventure is not yet open on its official opening day at Disneyland Park, 2 hours after the park opened. Friday, November 15th is the official opening day of Tiana's Bayou Adventure at Disneyland Park. The first version of the attraction, which replaces Splash Mountain, opened at Magic Kingdom this summer. Disneyland opened at 8 a.m. on Friday morning, and by 10 a.m., Tiana's Bayou Adventure was not yet operating. They said they were among the first guests crowded outside the new ride. They said, we did get to ride Tiana's Bayou Adventure during previews last month, and the attraction is using 3 virtual queue windows for its opening period. They did say an update at 12:24 p.m. Pacific time says at this time, Tiana's Bayou Adventure has opened to guests at Disneyland Park following this morning's unexpected downtime. And another update at 1:38, Tiana's Bayou Adventure is experiencing unplanned downtime. So it seems like it was running perhaps a little bit more than an hour before it had to shut down again. You know, when it comes to this, I think a lot's been said, and like we've talked about many times about, you know, the issues with Disney, and a lot of it, in my opinion, is being very short-sighted and just really, you know, you can blame this on Chapek, but I think this started before Chapek, which is like this spreadsheet management. And I think as part of that, ride maintenance for sure has been cut, as that's been an issue with a lot of a lot of rides where if you look throughout Disney World and Magic Kingdom, there's a ton of rides that are just down consistently and just really more than you ever really remembered in the park, as you can have 4 or 5 rides down at a time. And I've had family members that work for Disney, and I have friends that have worked there, and they've said that, you know, the budget cuts that happen to maintenance is one of the reasons for this. Now, this issue I wouldn't put on maintenance because, like what we saw with Tiana's Bayou Adventure, it seemed like that ride wasn't ready to open, but perhaps they were just given a mandate by upper management saying it is opening by this date, because even during annual pass holder previews, it was shutting down a lot. Even for the cast members, it was shutting down a lot, yet they still opened that ride. And, you know, I understand wanting to hit deadlines, but at the same time, I think it's a really bad look whenever you have a ride that is brand new. Well, kind of, it's a re-themed, but it's a new attraction that is not reliable. And this has been an issue with Disney. We look at Rise of the Resistance, very similar story, as it is doing much better nowadays. But when it first opened, it was very hit and miss in terms of that ride consistently being open and available to guests. And you would assume as well, when you're going to open up the second iteration of this ride less than a year later, that you would fix a lot of the issues that were perhaps plaguing the original one. But it seems like this ride yet again is having its issues. Now, I do understand rides go down, rides have issues, and I'm totally understanding of that. But I think the perception of this is something that is really hard to shake if you're Disney, because yet again, not only another ride, the same ride that has had issues at Disney World seems to have these issues at Disneyland. Now, they don't go into what these specific issues are, and we don't cover Disneyland very much, so outside of looking at what other people are saying about it, I don't really know necessarily what the issues are with this, if it's the same things, which the rumors were with Disney Worlds, that it was a mix of the animatronics, as Splash Mountain had used more old school animatronics that weren't as reliant on electronics and just being really, really high tech, versus these new ones that maybe perhaps are more sensitive to damp, wet environments. Plus, they have sensors in the ride that instead of like Splash Mountain, where it just ran on a continuous loop, this one was trying to basically reset and have the scene start fresh for everybody, you know, a new log coming through the ride, which I do applaud that. I think that's a good thing to try and strive for. but it seems like the sensors that they were using for this attraction just weren't holding up to the water, the environment, like whatever the issue is. I've heard some people speculate that it could just be, the one in Disney World is basically a cold, wet, damp, cave-like area, a concrete structure, and the sensors in there aren't, designed for it, which again is something you would look at with Imagineering in terms of not designing a ride for the environment that it's going to be in. So I don't know if the one at Disneyland has had these issues consistently or if this is the same problem here. But either way, it's not a great look in terms of this ride, its second iteration of it, and the opening day of it having these issues here. Now, obviously, we'll have to wait and see if these get fixed or if it's ongoing like the one at Disney World. But it also doesn't change the fact, too, that changing this ride was not something that, in my opinion, was necessarily a priority for Disney, given Splash Mountain at both parks was a very popular attraction. If you look at the data that talked about Disney World, at least, it was a top 5 attraction in the entire resort. And so retheming this, and I know Disney's reasoning for it, I know some people are for it and against it, but when it comes to, theme park attractions, like this is the type of ride that you would have dreamed to have for a theme park, which is an established ride. You don't have to do a whole lot of stuff to it, and it eats up a lot of people. People love it. Like, it is a successful attraction. And when you redo this, obviously a lot of people are going to have feelings about it, but when you redo it and then it's not as reliable, you didn't fix the old issues with it, and then you bring in new issues with it, I think it just sets this tone where all the money that went into this, and the rumors are as well to fix the problems with the one at Disney World, could potentially cost just as much as the ride to build itself. Now, I don't know if that's true. Those are some rumors that we've heard, but obviously Disney's not going to come out and say these things. If they do a refurbishment on it, perhaps during the winter when a lot of times water rides get that, I suppose they could fix some of these problems with it. But again, you would assume that these things would have been dealt with the first time around. But as much as time and money went into redoing this attraction in a period of time where most people, including myself, figured Disney was going to be announcing new things coming to the parks to basically try and have a rebuttal or an answer for Epic Universe, they put a lot of time and money into these attractions here, which again, your best case scenario with these is they are just about as equivalent in terms of popularity as Splash Mountain. So I don't really think the high end of things was going to be an improvement on that ride necessarily. I think some people are going to like it more. Some people aren't going to like it as much. But all in all, your probably goal there is to have it where it's basically the same level of popularity as Splash Mountain was. And I think Disney was assuming that this would be, a rethemed attraction, could be something that would bring people in as a competition perhaps of, dealing with Universal. I don't think that that's been the case with this. As I think most people understand, it's just Splash Mountain with some new things in there. And if you like Princess and the Frog, then you're probably going to like this more. And if you don't care for that, you may like it more, or it may just be about what it was. But I think at the end of the day, it's not something that's driving people to the theme parks necessarily. And at least from my perspective, it seems like there's been a lot more negative reactions to this just based off the ride reliability aspect of it before you even get into the ride itself. I've tried to ride this 3 times, got to ride it once, and twice, had to be escorted off of it because it shut down. So like I said, we'll have to wait and see if the one at Disneyland ends up, having these same issues consistently. So I suppose, on an opening day, sometimes, rides do go down. I'm understanding on that, but I do think the perception of this is something that people are going to look at and then immediately makes you think about, how Disney is not running rides how they used to, the designing of them, and simply the implementation of them. Plus, when you look at Epcot and what the overhaul they did there and really the letdown that was, I think a lot of people are looking at the new things Disney are doing, and this even goes into the stuff they announced coming to the parks in the coming years. A lot of people are sort of sitting there thinking, okay, well, I guess we'll see if this is, these things run, these things operate, because even, before Splash Mountain, again, the Rise of the Resistance and some of these other rides have had their issues on some of the recent offerings that Disney has constructed. And as much as, I do think, and I wish Disney would not do the price hikes that they've done, I wish they would bring back perks to the parks that they used to offer and everything on that end of things. One thing I really hope that Disney would focus on in the future and really improve upon is the maintenance side of things, and really the offerings, the creativity that they use when it comes to Imagineering and the things that they're going to do. And hopefully the new things that they do build are up to the level that they used to be in terms of what Imagineers used to bring. And obviously, again, I know rides do break down, and I'm not trying to have an overreaction to this, but I think this further feeds into at least the narrative currently with Disney in terms of over-promising, under-delivering, and some of the focus on this breakdown on the first day of it opening at Disneyland is, of course, people looking over at Disney World, seeing the issues with that ride. So I don't know if it's the same crew working on it or any of those details, but I think it does lend into people looking at it and just thinking, oh, here we go again. And I don't think that's a place where Disney historically has been, and I don't think that's a place where they want to be. And as cool and as great as you might be excited for the new things they are building in the parks, I do hope some attention and effort and budget is increased for these aspects of the park that aren't noticed by people necessarily until rides break down. And again, Disney was always known for doing the little things and making a bigger overall difference in your experience. And I do think that over time, they have lost focus on the little things. And I think it starts to see in things like this, where it comes to details of rides, ride reliability, and things that we're starting to see here. So hopefully this gets fixed. Hopefully they figure out what the issues with either the one at Disney World and or the one at Disneyland and get these things operational and reliable. But for the time being, it seems like the one at Disneyland is off to a bit of a rough start. So again, we'll have to keep an eye on this and see if this continues or if this is just a opening day fluke, as it very well could be that. But either way, that's going to be it though for this video. If you like this video, please like it and subscribe to the channel, as we do lots of coverage here of Universal Studios, Epic Universe, Disney World, and pop culture. And let us know in the comments, what do you think about this? And do you think that Disneyland's Tiana's Bayou Adventure is going to be plagued with the same problems that Disney World's is? And until next time, we will see you in the parks.